to the bold analysis. Nearly 2 months after announcement was made that former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo was going to spearhead the bipartisan talks between government side and opposition side, for the first time, Obasanjo has made public appearance. And according to early reports, was after meeting both Raila and Ruto in a Mombasa hotel. Obasanjo was in the country for a while, then flew back to Nigeria. But because he also has a home in Kenya, I think he has a home around Nakuru, he again flew back and attended the climate summit. While at the tail end of that summit, Obasanjo was with the delegation, the president's and former president's delegation, where William Ruto read the Nairobi Declaration. And when Obasanjo and William Ruto, acknowledging the presence of Obasanjo, made this statement.
And of course, the grandfather of Africa, Baba Olusegun Obasanjo. He was right here to make sure that we never try to do the wrong thing. Thank you very much, Mzee. And you have supervised us all the way. I tried to persuade him that we can do the rest alone, and he said no, just in case you make the wrong step last minute. So that's why he is here.
Now, that statement, if you read William Ruto's body language with that statement, he actually said that, acknowledged that Obasanjo is, of course, helping us manage the bipartisan talks. Number two, there is something he said in that speech, and that's what I really took, that he asked Obasanjo to leave them to do the other part of it, but Obasanjo insisted that he will still be around to make sure that the talks do not hit a snag. And in clear terms, it was very intentional. It is not by coincidence for Obasanjo to have been part of that team. Number one, Nigeria did not send, the president of Nigeria was amongst presidents that were expected in the East African country, in Kenya, but he did not come. Well, there was three delegation from Nigeria. Number two, Obasanjo, the delegation that was reading that, delegation that was reading that declaration had presidents, current presidents, the 14 of them, 15 I think I understand, the Chad president jetted yesterday, the 15 presidents, and also representation from the African Union and the European Union. So Obasanjo was not really amongst the team that ought to be there, but was there by default. There is that which a message that William Ruto wanted to see. But before we look at before we even look at William Ruto's ambition plan with it, I need to remind our viewers in this bold podcast that at one point, government side said that Obasanjo did not want his name to be called anywhere in the Kenyan in public around this discussion, and Obasanjo requested to remain in the back door so that he will not be in the picture. And it's also very clear that throughout the talks, the bombast talks that have been going on, there are three levels that have been created. There is the negotiation team, there is a secretariat, and there is also a technical team. Now, amongst all these three levels that have been created, technical and negotiation have always been in public, known. But the composition of secretariat, which is headed by Obasanjo, is still has not yet been made public. And of course, even Obasanjo agreeing to come up, because if he was in the country, he would have just attended this summit throughout, throughout that, but he chose to attend the final day. I want to understand yesterday he was not there. Now, there is also something I want us to get. Government side have always projected Obasanjo, and of course it's true that Obasanjo is a very close friend to Raila Odinga, that it is Raila Odinga who called and brought Obasanjo on the mediation table, to be in charge of the mediation table. And I think initially it was perceived, the perception that was created is that it is Raila Odinga, that the talks was a project of Raila. Now, if that will be the case, then you will not see government side inviting him to attend the climate summit. And will not expect that much of applause from President William Ruto. So that brings me to the key observation I want us to look at. What exactly was the message being relayed by the public appearance of Obasanjo? Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our video. I want to share two information. Number one, I want to say a very big congratulations to President William Ruto. You give credit where it's due. The organization of the summit, I think it was top notch. The concept, and I remember the concept bearer was the former CS in charge of trade, David Osen, was in charge of the concept, the layout, and everything in terms of getting the thematic areas, not thematic areas, but the thematic colors and the branding and all that. It was done by Osen. Being that it was the first of its own climate summit in Kenya, of course, it's worth the applause. He did it. Secondly is about, we are doing 100 subscribers challenge, so getting 100 subscribers per day. What you can do is the best. The best you can do for us is, as you watch this video, pause a minute and look at the subscription tab there, down there. Subscribe, click the notification bell so that when we publish a video, you will always get notification. Now, what did Ruto want to communicate with the Obasanjo gesture? The message here is Obasanjo has been the backroom convener behind the talks. That's one thing that has been going on. Because you look at, allow me to use shallow and petty meddling of the talks, or efforts by Rigathi Gachagua and the team to scuttle the talks, has been likely been made as if there are those who thought that by sending Ichungwa then, because I'm close to Ichungwa, we can easily meddle with the talks. William Ruto was relaying a message to the Rigathi Gachagua and anti-talks crusade. There is anti-talks crusade in government, that Obasanjo has been keenly behind those talks. Now, that is number one. Number two, you look at the audience he was addressing African heads of states, a mission from AU, and also Europe, the West. There was also representation from UK, US. I'm not sure about UK, but there was US and also European Union. There is, when by the public appearance and the public gesture that William Ruto was making the Obasanjo, he was exuding confidence and showing the international community about his commitment on those talks. His commitment about the talks. I want to say, yesterday I was saying that all those presidents who were in Nairobi this week, for the last 2 or 3 days, they're not guests to the Kenyan political terrain. They know very well that just 2 months ago, there was some mass action in this country. They know very well that William Ruto and Raila Odinga have been at loggerheads. And they understand also, it's very true, that Obasanjo has been spearheading some talks between government and opposition side in Kenya. Not that, because if you look at those who attended, they are all in Africa, and the same problems, African problems, seems to be very identical. The same political skirmishes we have in this country, we have in other African countries. So it is something that has been going on. So by William Ruto bringing him in on board by that public appearance, he was sending a message to the international community about what it was all about. There is another person that William Ruto was addressing, and that person is Samia Suluhu, the Ugandan president. Tanzanian president. Tanzanian president is amongst heads of state, is a president who Raila Odinga, the Azimio leader, revealed that was also in the country for like 2 days and had been invited also to mediate about the two. But a report later emerged that it is former President Uhuru Kenyatta who mediated, who really sought the intervention of Samia Suluhu to help address the Kenyan challenge. But William Ruto then declined Suluhu, having understood that Uhuru Kenyatta was behind her presence. Remember, a report was that she was actually in Masai Mara. That's where she was residing in a hotel in Masai Mara. So those talks did not happen simply because it was under Uhuru Kenyatta. Even though later on they reconciled and William Ruto was in Tanzania for some conference, and of course there was no problem. So it was really showing that message that William Ruto told, in that message he was telling Obasanjo, that he told Obasanjo that help us do the other part, but Obasanjo declined. So that could also mean that William Ruto declined. She was addressing Suluhu, the reason why perhaps she declined to maybe bring Suluhu. There is lastly, I think it also shows that Obasanjo was deployed by some foreign powers, the African Union, European Union, or some other foreign diplomats. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. I don't know what's your interpretation about the public appearance of Obasanjo. Thank you.